vision, or have another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Florine Melnick, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the June 21st issue of the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Our first feature is Getting a Jump on Christmas. Small town vibe draws Danza Lopez to Western New York for another holiday movie by Tony Ruberto, special to the news. Tony Danza and Mario Lopez have been friends for years, but it took making a Christmas movie in Buffalo for them to finally work together. The Hollywood stars are in Lewiston for the first week of filming the holiday movie Rewinding Christmas for Great American Media before they move on to other locations in Buffalo. The production is making the most of Lewiston's small-town appeal, charming houses, white picket fences, and a gazebo that are all requisites for holiday films, and all in abundance in the greater Buffalo area. That's not lost on the actors as they admired the white farmhouse-style home with an inviting porch. That is the one of the film's locations. Quote, "The house right here, I don't know where else you're going to find this," Danza said, turning to the nearly 4,000 square foot home on a corner lot. Quote, "It's been here since 1817. That's crazy," Lopez tells him, end quote. Lewiston residents had quietly gathered in front of the house along South 5th Street with folding chairs, kids, and dogs to see the actors and watch filming. Quote, "This is the first time I've been on a film set," said Jennifer Taggart, holding up her phone to get pictures. "It's exciting that this is happening in our hometown. I can't wait to see the movie," end quote. In Rewinding Christmas, the actors play father and son who reconnect when Lopez's character returns home after losing a promotion and learns Dad is selling the family's supper club. Starring as a third generation of the on-screen family is Dominic Lopez, Mario's real-life 12-year-old son. Quote, "It's very much a family affair," Lopez said about the movie. "My son is playing Tony's grandson, which is a lot of fun. It's all about family and love at the end of the day and focusing on priorities and what's important." Lopez is dressed in an unseasonably warm winter coat with a heavy scarf wrapped around his neck for an outdoor scene. When someone says it's ironic that they are making a Christmas movie in 80-degree heat, they both laugh. Quote, "It could be worse. It's not that bad," end quote, Lopez said, recalling the chilly weather that welcomed him while making his first Buffalo film in 2025, The Christmas Spark. Lopez often took videos of himself walking through the snow and wind to share on social media. Quote, "I remember when I was here in April and it was snowing still," he tells Danza. "They like their winters nice and long here, Tony," end quote. The actors project a relaxing chemistry as they talk of their friendship and mutual respect. Quote, "I know Mario goes on about me, but I'm also a very big fan of everything he does," end quote, Danza said. So what was it about Rewinding Christmas that finally brought the two together? Quote, "He asked me," Danza said with a straight face, before briefly turning serious talking about his character. Quote, "I certainly identify with this performer who happens to own his own place and is trying to keep it alive," end quote. Lopez said the role of a song and dance man who owns a supper club was written with Danza in mind. That may surprise those who think of Danza only from his years on the popular sitcoms Taxi and Who's the Boss. But the versatile entertainer has tapped his way across Broadway stages and created a musical tribute to Frank Sinatra that he performs around the country. He will present Tony Danza, Sinatra and Stories on Friday and Saturday at the Bears Den in the Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino in Niagara Falls. Lopez has watched Danza's show where he sings and dances to Sinatra's music and said it gives you a taste of what you'll see in the film as it mirrors his character. Quote, "It works out well," end quote, he said. While this is the second movie Lopez has made in Buffalo as an actor and producer, he also produced Chasing Christmas, that was made here last fall and starred his son Dominic. The appeal of making movies in Buffalo is simple for him: the community. Quote, "People here are always so welcoming. It's beautiful here and we have a lot of fun," end quote, Lopez said. Quote, "I love the whole holiday element, and again, the film represents family and all these great values," end quote. While Danza agreed with feeling at home here, he also threw out the first pitch at a recent Buffalo Bisons game. He was quick to point out another factor. Quote, "I'm just so thrilled to be doing a movie in an American city, because every time I go to work now, I'm in Bulgaria or something. Nothing against Bulgaria, but you'd like to be able to work in your own confines," he said. "I'm just really happy to be part of this. I really like the script, and I think we may be able to make a Christmas movie that goes on and they play every year," end quote. Rewinding Christmas is the 13th movie made locally by Great American Media as part of a 2-year production deal with Great Point Buffalo Film Studios. It is expected to air after Thanksgiving. Another Buffalo film, The Trouble with Mistletoe, kicks off GAM's Christmas in July event, streaming July 9th on Great American Pure Flix, then premiering at 8 p.m. July 11th on Great American Family Channel and GFAM Plus. Our next feature, Taste of Country. This is in Things to Do. Nickel City Comic Con, Judy Collins, by Tony Roberto. Taste of Country, 5:30 p.m. Friday at Salem Field. The 25th anniversary of Taste of Country is so big this year that it has 2 headliners and a commemorative TOC donut. Country stars Luke Bryan and Jordan Davis are joint headliners for the event, but also has performances by Low Cash, Corey Kent, and Preston Cooper. Paula's Donuts has created a bakery treat as American as apple pie for the concert. It's a glazed cinnamon donut with apple filling, topped with caramel de leche frosting, and dipped in streusel. Half of the sale proceeds benefit the ECMC Foundation. For tickets, visit wyrk.com. Get downtown early for an all-ages tailgate party starting at 1:30 at nearby Ironworks, 49 Illinois Street, with music by Noah Lee and the Stetsons. Tickets are $5 to $10. Nickel City Comic Con, Friday, Saturday, and next Sunday at the Buffalo Convention Center, 153 Franklin Street. For its 10th year, NCCC has loaded up on panels, exhibits, and guest stars including Sean Astin, Goonies, Lord of the Rings, and Linda Blair, The Exorcist. Reunions are popular with cast members from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, James Marsters, Julie Benz, and Juliet Landau. Married with Children, David Faustino and Amanda Bierce. Revenge of the Nerds, Curtis Armstrong, Brian Tochi, Larry B. Scott, and Julie Montgomery. Sons of Anarchy, Ron Perlman, Tommy Flanagan, and Kim Coates. And Go Go Power Rangers, Jason Font, Catherine Sutherland, and Tracy Lynn Cruz. Other guests include comic creators, Hall of Fame professional bowler Pete Weber, and wrestlers Jake the Snake Roberts and Mickey James. Also see set used props from Terrifier 3 in a pop-up exhibit. Have your photo taken on the 30-foot replica of the Inferno, One-Eyed Willie's pirate ship from the Goonies, and try your skills in the Crypt, a mini escape room from Pine Street Horror Haunted House, formerly Seven Gates Scream Park. Visit nickelcitycon.com to see the full list of guests, buy tickets, and pre-order photo and autograph ops. Hours are 2 to 8 p.m. Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Saturday, and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. next Sunday. Judy Collins, 8 p.m. Thursday at Asbury Hall at Babeville, 341 Delaware. The iconic singer visited Buffalo on what is being called Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. Farewell. Don't think of it with sadness, but rather as a celebration of her 6 decades of making music that includes 55 albums and poignant renditions of Send in the Clowns and Both Sides Now. In concert, those songs, as one reviewer wrote, took her audience back to a kinder, gentler, more hopeful time. Doors open at 6 p.m. Tickets are via tixarc.com. Lavender U-Pick. Season opens Friday at Kinloch Farmstead, 4299 Ridge Road, Lockport. Nothing says summer more than U-Pick, whether it's fruit, veggies, or in this case, fragrant lavender. The 30-acre Kinloch Farmstead has more than 3,000 lavender plants of the English and French varieties. The U-Pick harvest for lavender lasts only a week, from June 26th to July 11th, but there are other events to enjoy around those days, including lavender-themed classes. Time tickets are $23 and include one bouquet of U-Pick lavender, a bag, and rubber bands. Lavender products, drinks, and snacks will be available in the barn. Because of limited space, you must have a ticket. Visit kinlochfarmstead.com. Naglia Ballet Summer Gala, 7:30 p.m. Saturday at the Flickinger Center for the Performing Arts, 1250 Amherst Street. It's a Buffalo tradition to see the Nutcracker by Naglia Ballet. Each holiday season. The rest of the year, the Naglia Conservatory of Ballet is teaching dancers, with many going on to perform around the country and beyond. This annual showcase includes the return of 5 alumni: Adelaide Klaus, Houston Ballet; Shannon Judson, former member associate director of Urban Bush Women; Rowan Lindemood, Philadelphia Ballet; Adrian Maloff and Maggie Wotherden, Royal Winnipeg Ballet. The evening opens with a program choreographed by Jennifer Golonka that highlights up-and-coming students. After the 1-hour program, you can meet the dancers at a complimentary reception. Tickets at the door are $80 general and $30 for students. Patron reserved seats also are available. Visit nagliaballet.org. Quick calendar. Footloose. Multiple performances through next Sunday at the Lancaster Opera House, 21 Central Avenue, Lancaster. Lewiston Garden Fest continues from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. today along Center Street in Lewiston. West Seneca Community Days, Thursday through Saturday at Veterans Park, 1250 Union Road. Midway rides, food, entertainment, fireworks, parade at 1 p.m. Just announced, a Boogie Wit Da Hoodie with Da Baby, Zeddy Will, and Jai the Prince. 8 p.m. September 18th at KeyBank Center, Ticketmaster.com. Dexter and the Moon Rocks with Cigarettes at Sunset. 7 p.m. December 2nd at the Town Ballroom, 681 Main Street, townballroom.com. Huns Stave, 7 p.m. September 22nd at the Town Ballroom. Carl Dixon sings the Guess Who, 7:30 p.m. February 5th at the West Her Riviera Theater, North Tonawanda, rivieratheater.org. Our next feature is in Gusto Taste. Duende at Silo City is going all in on the World Cup by Francesca Bond. Rick Smith wore white. He was like the bride at a wedding. Everyone hanging out at this bar on a recent sun-drenched Friday evening seemingly wanted to say hi. Everyone who worked at his bar needed to ask him a question. Smith never stopped moving. He followed a tight mental itinerary as he whizzed around Silo City's campus, where silos surround the bar, duende like mountains enclosing a valley. He kept the party flowing on what was destined to become one of its busier nights. Smith runs a unique bar. There is nowhere else like Duende at Silo City, 85 Silo City Row. It is like its own city, one from a science fiction novel, where hope springs from ruin. The grain elevators could have stayed relics from the city's more prosperous and relevant times, or the site could have become an ethanol plant, but Silo City repurposed the area into something flexible, artistic, and fun. It has become far greater than the sum of its parts. Quote, "It's these great things. They're no longer used for what they're built for, but they are beautiful," Smith said, nodding towards the concrete silos. "I'm just the steward of this for now," end quote. Duende opened in 2018. It is Buffalo's own thing, not a copycat from a trend born elsewhere. It's a well-executed creative vision that evolves a little bit all the time, like a person. Duende even has thoughts. lines of literature cut from metal hang in the windows and throughout the bar, like a line you read once that burrowed into your memory. It has a core personality, live music most days of the week, Americana flair, and adds new identities. For example, Duende is going all in on the World Cup this summer, playing all 104 World Cup matches over the next month. Duende always liked soccer, part of Silo City's compound home to various art installations, theater performances, and poetry readings. Also includes a soccer field used by Silo City's the Leo Soccer Club, a youth soccer league for refugee and disadvantaged children. The soccer league's president is another one of Duende's familiar faces, bartender Gabriel Shalamba. Sometimes the World Cup games will be in the main bar. Sometimes they'll stream on televisions upstairs in a music venue called the Bin Floor. Often they'll play in the Watu Cantina, a bar and shed that opens out into Duende's grassy backyard where you can take a viewing break and play an impromptu soccer match yourself. And sometimes they'll stream on a big bright outdoor television in the backyard. Then there's a special screen, a grain elevator moonlighting as a drive-in movie theater. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Duende is playing a handful of games on the side of the silos. The picture isn't perfect, and it needs to be night, not even dusk, to see the screen, but watching a World Cup game at Duende is a Buffalo bucket list item this summer. It's already happened once, but 4 more games are slated to stream on the silos on June 25th, June 26th, July 2nd, and July 4th. Duende's Kitchen serves a small menu of well-done pub standards, including wings, 10 for $15, pizza logs and vegan nachos, $15. Duende is also partnering with local restaurants on pop-ups inspired by the cuisines of World Cup competing countries. June 25th, food from the West Side Bazaar and Turkish desserts and coffee from Buffalo United for Peace. June 26th, Cafe Bar Moriarty serving Spanish pork bocadillo. July 2nd, Gabriela Ozan of Tangos 716 serving Argentinian choripan and empanadas. July 11th, Yali's African restaurant serving jollof rice with chicken and Abyssinia Ethiopian cuisine serving injera rolls and sambusas. Last Friday evening, ahead of a World Cup match, Duende felt like a barbecue. The skiffle minstrels played Western swing music in the backyard. Friends claimed their seats for the silo-streamed USA game, which was still a few hours away. Like general admission concert-goers determined to be in the front row, Smith, head to toe in his signature urban cowboy attire, snaked in and out of Duende, sometimes on a golf cart, and sometimes jogging through Silo City's popular shaded nature trails. Poplar fluff, known as summer snow, floated in the breeze, while the leaves shimmied like the tambourine jingles. Smith had more work to do because next up on the itinerary was a parade. Though the World Cup had already begun, this was the first big game streamed on the silos. The next few hours would be hectic. Duende, off the beaten path and not normally too busy, swarmed with viewers. Some attendees complained about the game not starting early enough or being clear enough on the silo screen, as if Duende could make the peak summer twilight of June fade any faster. Smith and Shalamba's teenage sons flipped burgers in a tent outside, along with Duende's CFO, Jim Delbert, who joked, "That's what you get for having an idea. You have to own it." But before the chaos, when all you could hear were the sounds of the parade, trombone, drums, and cheering kids, and nature, swishing leaves, singing sparrows and warblers, Smith strolled behind the parade and took a moment to reflect. The grain elevators, quote-unquote Buffalo's ruins, as he calls them, were home to a thriving evening of sports, music, community, and beer. Sometimes, Smith said, reality is better than you imagine. The People's Patios. Last week we published a list of patio recommendations. Now we would love to hear about yours. To contribute your favorite to our guide of reader-recommended patios, please send the following information in an email to fbond@buffnews.com by June 23rd. The name of your favorite restaurant patio, in 100 words or less, a blurb explaining why the patio is your favorite, a few possible prompts. What does it feel like to dine on this patio? What is it about the ambiance and food that keeps you coming back? What is a favorite memory of yours on this patio? Your full name and your town or neighborhood of residence. We appreciate your input and will let you know if we plan on publishing your submission. And for the Cook the Book Walk of Fame, we have succulent Chinese beef recipe. Why do takeout when you can make spicy? It's the rare diner who doesn't love the occasional Chinese takeout. Yet given the laundry list of ingredients some dishes require and need for precise mise en place, wok cooking is fast, so you better have everything ready to go before you start. You have to wonder, is it worth making at home? Jeremy Pang, the British Chinese chef who founded London School of Wok in 2012, hopes to ease some of that hesitation in his latest cookbook, Jeremy Pang's Chinese Kitchen. Simple techniques, delicious recipes, Hamlin Press, $30. Its 80-plus Asian-inspired recipes from across East and Southwest Asia are designed with the home cook in mind, with clear and easy-to-follow instructions, along with a guide to Chinese kitchen and pantry essentials. Pang writes he has a bit of a soft spot for this popular dish featuring crispy strips of beef in a tangy, spicy sauce, even though it's more often associated with takeout than traditional home cooking. Thanks to his interplay of textures and flavors and quick prep, I'm guessing you too will walk away from the table completely satisfied. Chopsticks optional. Cook and dine with style. Point your phone at the camera on this code, then tap the link for the Tasty Recipes 101.com. And also in G-Taste is a recipe for a pasta salad, which looks really good. This salad is great for entertaining, as it's easy to double or triple to serve a crowd, and is prep ahead friendly. You can make pasta salad up to 2 days in advance. It's better the second day. Simply store the salad in an airtight container in the refrigerator, and this makes 12 cups. And it has spiral pasta, seeded and chopped bell peppers, any color, or 10 chopped sweet mini peppers, 8 ounces of fresh mozzarella, 6 ounces of salami as Genoa, Felino, or Soppressata, cut into bite-sized pieces. You could use pepperoni or ham also, grape tomatoes, black olives, finely chopped red onion, Parmesan cheese, parsley, basil, and then the dressing is olive oil, lemon juice, Dijon mustard, honey, fresh garlic or minced garlic, dried oregano, basil, salt and pepper, and yeah, looks good. You could also, if you were vegetarian or vegan, you could put tofu in there. And there's also a potato salad recipe. This is my go-to potato salad recipe. Feel free to make adjustments to seasonings. So we have potatoes, apple cider vinegar, mayonnaise, Dijon mustard, black pepper, bacon, green onions, celery, pimentos, and parsley. You can also go to tastyrecipes101.com for the recipes. Our next feature is in Gusto Books, Storybook Summer. Ways to encourage your kids or grandkids to keep reading during their break from school. Dr. Dipesh Navsaria, American Academy of Pediatrics. Summer vacation gives your child a much-needed break from school routines, which is important, but at the same time it can also result in what educators call the summer slide or brain drain, a learning gap that opens when kids spend long periods away from the classroom. Not only can reading be a fun leisure activity, it can keep your child's skills sharp during summer break. Research shows that spending time with a favorite book builds brain pathways that are essential for language, social skills, and emotional well-being. Number 1, get kids their own public library card. Most library systems are happy to issue cards to kids under 18, including young children, with a parent or guardian's signature and proof of address. Having their own card makes visiting the library even more fun. At home, set up a library table or other designated spot for books to return. 2. Pair books with traveling. If your family is heading to another part of the country or world this summer, look for books that feature your destination. Kid-friendly travel guides and scavenger hunts can add fun to your trip. Fiction with characters from places you will visit can literally bring locations to life. Number 3. Explore new bookstores. Consider making a trip to bookshops you've never visited before. Kids might enjoy vintage books or magazines from a used book outlet, or they might like selections from a store that focuses on a specific genre. Think mysteries or art books. Number 4, connect summer reading to real-life adventures. Does your child love to read about dinosaurs? Your local museum might have exhibits they would enjoy too. Pair reading with trips to the zoo, planetarium, country or state fair, or natural outdoor settings like forests, lakes, and seashores. Number 5, read out loud. Sharing a story can turn long car trips into adventures, but it's just as fun on rainy days or summer evenings outside. Encourage your child to read aloud to you, or read them a story that's just beyond their current reading level. This can help them build new vocabulary. Tween and teen readers may like to discuss a book's plot, characters, and theme after sharing it with the group. 6. Don't discount audiobooks. For some children, decoding text, sounding out printed words as speech, may be a struggle. When reading for fun, listening to an audiobook isn't cheating. It can offer the same vocabulary, story structure, and comprehension, practice as reading print, but with a break from decoding hard words. Audiobooks can also be great for long road trips if your child gets motion sickness. And also, they could follow along looking at the print of the book while listening to the audiobook. That may help them. Number 7, remember it's recreation, not a race. If your young bookworm chooses to read 50 books before the first day of school, that's wonderful. But even kids who consume only a handful of new titles will benefit, so consider letting them set their own summer reading pace. Summer should be about reading for pleasure. This is a chance to discover that reading can be a journey into new worlds and fresh possibilities. Choosing great books. Libraries often have summer reading lists organized by age and grade level that will capture your child's imagination. Story circles for little ones and reading clubs for tweens and teens can open doors too. Don't hesitate to ask the librarians for book suggestions. They can recommend high-quality, appropriate level books on just about any topic. You can even bring them a book your child loves and ask for more like this, please. Not only are you not bothering them when you ask, they want to help you. When browsing local bookstores, look for shelf talkers, small cards perched next to books that offer a glimpse inside, often with staff ratings and reviews. Other places to find books to get kids interested in reading over the summer include neighborhood or friend group book exchanges, perusing little free libraries, and recommended reading book lists on healthychildren.org, and Reach Out and Read, a nonprofit that works with pediatricians and families to make shared reading a part of daily routines. And here's another feature called New for June, 5 fresh titles to add to your reading list. Chris Hewitt, the Minnesota Star-Tribune. It's never too early to break out the beach reads. Whether you're heading to the cabin, a hammock, or a lake with unusually warm weather, we have some suggestions for you, including a literary superstar who became an Oscar nominee earlier this year, and a couple of guys who have Taylor Swift's ear. The Hardest Longest Race by Eric Moskowitz. Moskowitz, who won a Pulitzer Prize for being part of the Boston Globe team that reported about the Boston Marathon bombing, turns to history for this nonfiction account of the first coast-to-coast automobile race in the United States. It took place in 1909. It's not a spoiler to disclose that a Ford Model T was declared the winner in Seattle. The race began in New York City. But it would spoil things to reveal the controversy that followed. Moskowitz traces the 23-day, 4,106-mile journey, promising insight into the drivers, the rugged terrain, and the impulse behind the, quote, ocean-to-ocean race, unquote, which was organized to help the then new horseless carriage gain a foothold with consumers. That seems to have worked, by the way, out now. The Housewives Underground by Caitlin Tiffany. There's a lot to unpack in the National Enquirer-esque subtitle of this one. The untold story of the women who made the JFK assassination our most enduring mystery. Tiffany's nonfiction account focuses on 3 ordinary women who were friends and who, bothered by inconsistencies in the Warren Commission's official investigation of the assassination, decided to dig deeper, watching and rewatching the Abraham Zapruder film while begging FBI honcho J. Edgar Hoover to do something. The book's description promises both hijinks and a serious examination of the 60s and 70s era when faith in our government began to evaporate. Out June 23rd. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The next book is No Dumb Questions by Jason and Travis Kelsey. Swifties will be poring over this one for references to Travis's fiance/podcast, guest/world's richest female musician. The Kelsey brothers' book, subtitled And All of Our Dumbest Answers, is an offshoot of their New Heights podcast, specifically the No Dumb Questions segments in which they answer listeners' off-the-cuff queries on any topic. While pre-selling the book, the Kelseys promise that Dumb Questions covers not just football, but also politics, relationships, food, and the proper way to eat cereal. Out now. Land by Maggie O'Farrell. Hamnet made the Irish writer a superstar, and the film version, for which she co-wrote the screenplay, earned her an Oscar nomination this year. So it's a sure bet that she has lots of new fans. O'Farrell's latest is also a history-inspired novel taking place in Ireland in the 1860s, shortly after the Irish potato famine. It's another story of a parent and child. Tomas and his 10-year-old son Liam are participating in the mapping of Ireland when an encounter with a ghostly creature incapacitates Tomas and forces young Liam to take over. It's an epic novel that illuminates how the events of the 1860s shaped one family for generations to come. Out now. Slasher Summer by E.L. Chen. 6 friends, whose descriptions roughly correspond to the characters in 80s movie The Breakfast Club, plus an additional preppy guy, were obsessed with a movie called Slasher when they were in high school in the 1980s. They even participated in blood-soaked Rocky Horror Picture Show style live reenactments of it. But things turned from live to dead when, as middle-aged adults, they attend a reunion in the same cabin where Slasher was filmed. Why not just say Bloody Mary in the mirror 3 times and get it over with, huh? It's a perfect situation for a maniacal killer to become an uninvited guest, and sure enough, one does. Will the final girl manage to survive? Will anyone? Out June 23rd. Our next feature is in Gusto Columns, On Gardening, Pink Cloud Petunias. Norman Winter, Tribune News Service. Supertunia Mini Vista Pink Cloud Petunia is having its debut year, or thanks to Susan Middleton Turner in South Georgia's Zone 9, Miller County. Its breakout year. Susan's house looks like a movie set, and you would have to think that Supertunia Mini Vista Petunias play a starring role. Last year it was the award-winning Supertunia Mini Vista Indigo that dazzled with incredible color. The petunias were planted in banister baskets across the front of the house. Later, after I had spread the word that Mini Vista Pink Cloud was coming this year, she messaged me. She told me she would line up the banister with Mini Vista Pink Cloud in 2026. I started to sweat a little because her Mini Vista Indigo petunias in 2025 could be described as picturesque perfection. She sent me a couple of progression photos of the new banister basket plantings with the Supertunia Mini Vista Pink Cloud petunias. I'm not sure what I said, but it was something like, "Holy wow." This certainly shows the ability of the Mini Vista series to dazzle, but it also shows the gardening ability of Susan Middleton Turner. Above the Mini Vista Pink Cloud Petunia is banister baskets she had hanging baskets planted with color blaze mini me chartreuse coleus. The chartreuse, or lime green, if you will, is a perfect contrast with the pink blooms below. Now back to the garden guy and neighbors Dave and Cynthia. Dave and Cynthia tried Super Tunia Mini Vista Pink Cloud in mixed containers. On one, they chose a white ceramic container and combined the Mini Vista Pink Cloud with Mini Vista Yellow and a red celosia that will give additional height through the summer. It seems the Mini Vista Pink Cloud makes a perfect partner, no matter the color chosen, so don't overthink the combination. The garden guy selected a chocolate brown container and planted the Mini Vista Pink Cloud with Superbenia Whiteout and Superbenia Stormburst Verbenias. These are two of the all-time great verbenias. I also added a Super Bells Blackcurrant Punch Calibraccio to play off the pink petunia. The combination really is a pleasing palette of colors. If you haven't tried Super Tunia Mini Vista's petunias, there are 11 colors from which to choose. They typically reach about 12 inches tall with a 24-inch spread. The Vistas are larger, reaching up to 24 inches in height and with up to 36-inch spread. All the Super Tunias need plenty of sun and fertile, well-drained soil. I paid attention to the Young's Plant Farm's raised beds this year, and their soil was very similar to potting soil. This speaks volumes as to why the flowers look so good after 12 straight days of rain in the area. The beds had near-perfect drainage. Feeding with a water-soluble mix or controlled release granules is essential during the summer, especially with a daily watering regimen that leaches nutrients. There is a lot of growing season left in 2026. It is never too late to plant the award-winning Super Tunia Mini Vista petunias like this year's new Mini Vista Pink Cloud. Norman Winter is a horticulturist, garden speaker, and author of Tough as Nails Flowers for the South and Captivating Combinations, Color and Style in the Garden. Hints from Heloise is our next feature. Try writing into brands about hard-to-read print. Dear Heloise, Renee recently commented about trying to read impossibly small print against similar color backgrounds. This has been a thorn in my side for years. Additionally, the location, color, and font side of a product's expiration date is a problem. Expiration dates should be clearly stamped in the contrasting ink on the top of the product, whether it's a jar lid or a box top. I didn't know about anyone else, but I select products by looking at the front of the label because this is what's visible on the shelf. The presentation of the top of the package doesn't matter. I don't know why manufacturers won't make this simple change. Like Renee, I've stopped using some products because of this. I had a positive outcome by calling a customer service department about their impossible to find, let alone read, expiration date. It was a major brand of spaghetti sauce that comes in a glass jar. The sauce is dark red, and they use a tiny blue print on the shoulder of the jar. Until the jar was empty, I couldn't see the date. I called and politely explained the issue, and I said that I wouldn't buy it again. Maybe mine wasn't the only complaint, because they started putting the date on the lid a few months later, and I started buying the sauce again. Linda D. via email. The next letter is leaving a burner on. Dear Heloise, this idea came to me as a way to help me from unintentionally leaving a burner on. When using a burner, position the knob slightly off the vertical or horizontal line at whatever setting you're using it. This way, after you're done using the range, all you need to do is quickly scan the stove to check that all the burners are off. I was prompted to do this after my spouse unintentionally left burners on, and I could smell that something wasn't correct. As we age, this is an easy check for us to do in the kitchen. Jim via email. Jim, thank you for this hint. It's so easy to forget to turn the burners off, but it's very dangerous to leave them on and unattended after we use the stove. Broken spaghetti straps. Dear Heloise, I have 2 dresses with spaghetti straps that I love wearing during a long hot summer day. I hung up both dresses on hangers over the winter, but when I removed them from the garment bag, I saw that the straps were broken. How should I hang these 2 dresses when I get done repairing them? Brianna in Niagara Falls, New York. Brianna, if the dress manufacturer didn't supply the dresses with side loops so that you could hang your dresses, then either hang them over a pants hanger, usually at the waist, or clip the bodice to a skirt hanger. If you clip these dresses, be sure to use some foam under the clips to avoid crushing or marring velvet, silk, or satin. Heloise. Our next feature is from Gusto Television. TV Critics Awards offer guide to summer viewing. Television critics don't agree on everything, but the more than 220 members of Television Critics Association, TCA, of which I am a member, this is by Alan Pergamon, provide consensus over what they viewed as the best shows on television from June 1st, 2025 to May 31st, 2026. The 42nd Annual TCA Awards also serve as a preview of the Emmy nominations, which arrived July 8th, with a couple of noteworthy asterisks. Critics have different categories and include men and women in the same categories. I don't agree with all the nominations announced Friday. If you haven't seen the shows nominated, you can look at them as a guide to summer viewing. The winners will be announced later this summer. Here are the nominations along with my views of the choices in each category. Program of the Year: The Comeback, HBO Max; Hacks, HBO Max; Heated Rivalry, Crave/HBO Max; Industry, HBO Max; The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, CBS; The Pit, HBO Max, the 2025 winner; Pluribus, Apple TV; Shrinking, Apple TV; Widow's Bay, Apple TV. My view: this category is loaded with worthy winners. I'd vote for The Pit to repeat, but wouldn't be upset if Shrinking won. I suspect I may be the only critic in the country who doesn't understand the infatuation with The Widow's Bay, which has its series finale Wednesday. I watched the first 7 of the 8 Widows episodes to see what I was missing about the series, set in a strange resort town trying to become a tourist destination, like Martha's Vineyard, and it still is a mystery to me. Outstanding Achievement in Comedy: Abbott Elementary, ABC, the 2022 winner; The Comeback, HBO Max; The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins, NBC; Hacks, HBO Max, 2024 winner; The Lowdown, FX; Margot's Got Money Troubles, Apple TV; Shrinking, Apple TV; Widow's Bay, Apple TV. My view: Shrinking, a comedy about a group of therapists dealing with their own issues, is my favorite because it provided laughs and many emotional moments. I enjoyed Margot's Got Money Troubles, the comedy starring Elle Fanning as a single mother who supported her child with an OnlyFans account. I found it educational, if only because I didn't know anything about OnlyFans, which suddenly is referenced in several shows, but I didn't laugh much. Outstanding Achievement in Drama: The Gilded Age, HBO Max; Heated Rivalry, Crave/HBO Max; Industry, HBO Max; A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, HBO Max; Paradise, Hulu; The Pit, HBO Max, the 2025 winner; Pluribus, Apple TV; Task, HBO Max. My view: The Pit had a strong second season. However, Pluribus, the science fiction series in which Rhea Seehorn plays a novelist immune to a virus that makes everyone happy, is a shiny newcomer. Its writers and producers likely will go away happy. Outstanding Achievement in Movies, Miniseries, or Specials: All Her Fault, Peacock; The Beast in Me, Netflix; Beef, Netflix, the 2023 winner; Death by Lightning, Netflix; DTF St. Louis, HBO Max; Half Man, HBO; Lord of the Flies, Netflix; Love Story, John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette, FX. My view: Love Story making the list made me laugh. I'd vote for either All Her Fault, starring Sarah Snook, or The Beast in Me, starring Claire Danes, which both revolve around smart women dealing with detestable men. Outstanding New Program: Alien Earth, FX; The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins, NBC; Heated Rivalry, Crave/HBO; A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, HBO; The Lowdown, FX; Margot's Got Money Troubles, Apple; Pluribus, Apple TV; Widow's Bay, Apple TV. My view: it's between Pluribus and Margot for me. Both feature strong women. Reggie Dinkins, seriously? I watched 2 episodes and bailed. Individual Achievement in Drama: Marissa Abella, Industry, HBO; Sterling K. Brown, Paradise, Hulu. David Harbour, DTF St. Louis, HBO Max. Catherine Lanasa, The Pit, HBO. Ken Leung Industry, HBO. Myhala Industry, HBO. Rhea Seahorn, Pluribus, Apple TV. Connie Story, Heated Rivalry, Crave, HBO. Hudson Williams, Heated Rivalry, Crave/HBO. Noah Wiley, The Pit, HBO. The 2025 winner. Seahorn unseats Wiley, in my view. The Emmys will at least put them in separate categories. You're listening to a reading of articles and features from the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Individual Achievement in Comedy. Hannah Enbinder, Hacks, HBO. Elle Fanning, Margot's Got Money Troubles, Apple. Harrison Ford, Shrinking, Apple. Lisa Kudrow, The Comeback, HBO. Kate O'Flynn, Widow's Bay, Apple. Matthew Rees, Widow's Bay, Apple. Gene Smart, Hacks, HBO. Tim Robinson, The Chair Company, HBO. My view. Fanning has a multi-dimensional role and gets my vote. However, I suspect Ford may be a better idea for my colleagues. Outstanding achievement in news and information. 60 Minutes, CBS. The American Revolution, PBS. CBS This Morning, CBS. Disneyland Handcrafted, Disney Plus. Frontline, PBS. 8-time winner in category. Have I Got News for You, CNN. Marty, Life is Short, Netflix. Mr. Scorsese, Apple. My view. 60 Minutes is a sentimental favorite by virtue of all the drama surrounding it after Scott Pelley and 2 other correspondents were fired. But Ken Burns' masterful American Revolution, which almost seemed 250 years long, will be tough to beat. Outstanding achievement in variety talk or sketch. The Daily Show, Comedy Central. Jimmy Kimmel Live, ABC. Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, HBO. 2018, 19, and 2021 winner. Late Night with Seth Meyers, NBC. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, CBS. The Muppet Show, Sabrina Carpenter, Disney Plus. Saturday Night Live, NBC. My view, even Kimmel would want Colbert, who has become a martyr because of the way CBS treated him, to win. Outstanding achievement in reality series. Couples Therapy, Showtime, Paramount Plus. Finding Mr. Christmas, Hallmark. The Great British Baking Show, Netflix. Love on the Spectrum, Netflix. RuPaul's Drag Race, MTV. Survivor, CBS. Top Chef, Bravo. The Traitors, Peacock. My view. I don't get paid enough to watch reality TV. Give it to Traitors again for all I care. Better yet, give it to the Hallmark Show as an early Christmas present. Outstanding achievement in family programming. Disney, Twisted Wonderland, The Animation, Disney Plus. Electric Bloom, Disney Plus, Disney Channel. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Disney Plus, Hulu. Phineas and Ferb, Disney Plus, Disney. Stranger Things, Tales from 85, Netflix. Vampirina, Teenage Vampire, Disney Plus. Wizards Beyond Waverly Place, Disney. Wandala, Apple. My view. Give it to one of the Disney shows. I haven't watched any of them, nor do I expect most critics voting to have either. Okay, next feature. What to watch on Sunday, June 21st. Eastern Standard Times. A Collector's Call, MeTV, 6:30. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs are usually a package deal, but not for New York collector David Alpert. His collection focuses solely on his favorite dwarf, Dopey, and he shares some of his most beloved collectibles, including the Disney Cell, the Dopey Nutcracker, and even the Dopey Steiff teddy bear, with host Lisa Welchin and collection expert John Ragusa. Celebrity Crime Scene, Marilyn Monroe, Fox, 8 p.m. For more than 6 decades, Marilyn Monroe's death has remained one of history's most enduring mysteries. Crime scene recreations have long been used to revisit the past, but never like this. Now in a groundbreaking television event, a revolutionary virtual recreation rebuilds the scene of her death with unprecedented precision, allowing a team of crime scene investigators to step back into 1962 and re-examine the evidence as never before. What they uncover undermines the official story of probable suicide and suggests something more sinister. Retired cold case investigator Paul Holes, certified senior crime scene analyst Alina Burrows, and a true crime reporter Kiki Monique serves as hosts. Patience, PBS, 8 p.m. A music student is found dead, and a professor dies unexpectedly, leading Patience, Ella Maisie Purvis, on a race to unlock the mystery in the new episode, Music in the Minister. UFC Rivals, A&E, 8 p.m. New series. This two-part special hosted by Mario Lopez combines compelling archival footage, exclusive interviews, and a dynamic roundtable discussion with fan-favorite UFC experts to explore the unforgettable moments in high-stakes competition behind the fiercest showdowns ever fought inside the octagon. Grantchester, PBS, 9 p.m. In this new episode, a rivalry turns deadly when a Cambridge student is murdered and Elfie's reaching nearer Bible turns up at the scene. The Way Home, Hallmark Channel, 9 p.m. Series finale. The fourth and final season concludes with the episode Ahead by a Century, where fans will say goodbye to Del, Andy McDowell, Kat, Shyler Lee, and Alice, Sadie LaFlamme Snow, and get answers to the ongoing mystery surrounding the pond and the Landry family's journey. House of the Dragon, HBO, 9 p.m., season premiere. A new dawn is coming along with a deadly showdown. Does Rhaenyra, Emma Darcy, truly believe Alicent, Olivia Cook, will open the doors to the Red Keep and surrender to her? Daemon Matt Smith, now on Team Rhaenyra, reminds her that she is the Queen of the Dragons and has an absolute power within your grasp. From the looks of the sizzle reel for the 8-episode season 3, she unleashes massive bloodshed. Catch a classic, Father's Day movies beginning at noon. On Father's Day, we celebrate the many facets of being a dad through a quartet of classics that look at family from a range of perspectives. It begins with 1950's Father of the Bride, pictured, where Stanley Banks, Spencer Tracy, life is upended as he's forced to deal with the heartache of letting go of his daughter Kay, Elizabeth Taylor, while at the same time planning her wedding. While Stanley eventually comes to terms with Kay's new life and regains a sense of peace, his world is shattered again in the 1951 sequel, Father's Little Dividend, when Stanley learns he's about to become a grandfather, a role he thinks he's way too young to take on. Life is much different for the Gilbreth family in 1950's Cheaper by the Dozen, where eccentric engineer father Frank Clifton Webb, along with his wife Lillian Myrna Loy, raises their 12 children through unorthodox methods, often using them as guinea pigs for his studies. The last film in the lineup is a star-studded, Oscar-winning On Golden Pond, 1981, featuring crotchety father Norman Henry Fonda, feisty wife Ethel Katharine Hepburn, and estranged daughter Chelsea Jane Fonda, as they are reunited at the family's summer home. While the aging Norman struggles with his own mortality, Chelsea's return forces long-avoided emotions to the surface. Movies you'll love. Project Hail Mary, 2026 science fiction, Ryan Gosling and Sandra Huller, MGM, 620. The Karate Kid, 1984 drama, Ralph Macchio, Noriyuki Pat Morita, CW, 7 p.m. The Love Heist, 2026 romance, Lindsay Fonseca and Peter Port Hallmark. Oh, it's on Hallmark, 7 p.m. Incredibles 2, 2018 children, Craig T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, Freeform, 7:20. Incredibles, I said that already. Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, 2024 science fiction, Rebecca Hall and Brian Tyree Henry, TNT, 7:45 p.m. Goodfellas, 1990 crime drama, Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, BBC America, 8 p.m. The Commuter, 2018 suspense, Liam Neeson and Vera Farmiga, VH1, 8 p.m. Sister Act, 1992 musical comedy, Whoopi Goldberg and Maggie Smith, ABC, 8:35 p.m. Big, 1988, Children. Tom Hanks, Elizabeth Perkins. CMT, 9 p.m. Danella Forever, 2024 science fiction. Henry Golding, Beatrice Grano. Showtime, 10 p.m. Winter's Bone, 2010 drama. Jennifer Lawrence, John Hawkes, VH1, 10:30. Ford vs. Ferrari, 2019 historical drama. Matt Damon, Christian Bale, FX, 11 p.m. And Dirty Harry, 1971 action. Clint Eastwood, Harry Guardino, Sundance, 11:15 p.m. You've been listening to a reading of articles and features from the June 21st issue of the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News. We read from the Sunday Gusto from the Buffalo News every Sunday at noon. Your reader has been Florine. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the front section of the Sunday Times. At 2 o'clock, we have the New York Times Opinion section. And at 3 o'clock, we have the New York Times Arts and Leisure section. Stay with us for these readings and more throughout the day. If you're listening to this publication online, you're probably using our website, a podcast player like Spotify or iTunes, a streaming service like Siro, or a smart speaker. Did you know that we now have a dedicated app that can be downloaded to any mobile device, like a smartphone or tablet, for free? App users can conveniently access our live stream and any episode of our podcast easier than ever. To download the app, just type NFRRS in the search window in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store. Contact us anytime if you have any questions by calling 716-821-5555, extension 5. Thank you. You're listening to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. As of this year, our agency has broadcast more than 300,000 hours of radio readings. Volunteer radio readers read newspapers, magazines, and books to area people who are blind or have a print disability, who are provided reading radios. Radio Reading's broadcast signal is provided at no charge by WNED. Radio Reading broadcasts from studios at 1199 Harlem Road in suburban Buffalo. Please let others know about Radio Reading. It's your service. For more information on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, call 716-821-5555. following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability, which makes reading, holding a book,